Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So this is part 2 of the Boneshatter series that I'm doing, and I'm not sure if I want to. I'll probably do like a third one where we top it out, and I'm still not going to go for Mage Blood because I don't think it's realistic. But anyway, all right. So we've made some big upgrades, so we're going to talk about that in this video. First thing of all, how far am I in Delve? Well, I'm currently sitting at about 454, and I just smashed that second Crystal King that you would have seen in the video. So yeah, we're making some money. We've got Abyssal Depths spouting up. We've got Primeval Chambers all around me. I'm knee deep in bank right now. I just had a Crown of the Tyrant drop and a Grace All's Uprising too. So that's like another 11 div just chilling there. And we're selling resonators at 81 sockets to 1 div, which is pretty profitable. So it's paid for this build and a lot of elements for my second build that I'll be playing. Anyway, so let's talk about the build and the changes that I made since. Just first of all, just having a look at the damage spec on here. So damage is sitting at like 4.93, and I hit like anywhere from 52 to 60 stacks. So it's like 3.5. That would be a lot of stacks. To like 4 mil currently, and this will be the update tree that you're going to see, but I'm at 297,000 effective hit pool, and we're currently running Divine Flesh as well, be it not the most perfect setup, but anyway, let's talk about the gearing changes. Okay, so gearing changes to this build. Alright, so first of all, I'm pretty sure helm is still the same. Yeah, helm is still the same. Alright. In the amulet spot, we've got exceptional performance, which increases duration. That's this up here, so that we don't have to skim the tree and come up here. And then I've also got an eternal struggle, and you just need to make sure that the greater of the two rolls is the Searing Exarch, and that will allow you to have 15% cull, which is really nice. I've got a 4th Vowel on this setup now, cost 5 div. Major advantage to this is armor also applies to chaos damage taken, which is how we run Divine Flesh. So, but what Divine Flesh does is all damage taken bypasses energy shield. You also get 50% of elemental damage taken as chaos damage. And now because armor now applies to chaos damage, the idea is that this will overcap. Now my build is a little behind in the overcapping in this area, even with Flask up. We're going to get 70%, so I've got to find 10%. Chaos res to fix that, but it's still pretty damn tanky. And then on top of that, we also have conversion to fizz damage taken as fire damage, and the fire damage is, as this is the way that I understand it, 50% of that fire damage taken is reconverted to chaos damage, and then that's basically split between the overcapping pool of overcapped fire res and resistance for chaos damage as well, with armor stacked in there as well. So basically 3 sort of trinities of defenses for every time I get hit by any type of elemental or physical damage. That's at least the way that I sort of understand how the damage and defense stats work on this build. Alright, so gloves, I've got Tanuahi. I've got implicit corrupted gloves now with a 10% attack speed roll and a 12% base roll on the explicit. So that's a nice 22% increased attack speed. On my boots, I changed them out because I realized I didn't have armor. Someone mentioned it to me in the comments section on the last video. So yeah, I changed my boots out. So yeah, do with that what you will. I do have life regeneration and maximum fire resistance, which gives me a lot more tankability. The other thing you could get is action speed, which is a lot harder to roll on the boots, but it makes you faster, and it also allows you to kill shit faster too. For the belt, we've got an implicit 10% attack speed during Flask effect roll on this one. So if you can find it, great. If you can't, then just any magnate will be fine. Now rings, I've managed to change my rings out. I got a lot higher roll of 15% of damage taken is recouped as life, as opposed to the previous roll. So that just makes me even tankier. More damage I take, the more I regenerate. I'm just like, hit me more, basically. Now, my axe, I got this one. It actually dropped with the rolls on it, funnily enough, which I was completely flabbergasted over. But 19% increased attack speed with 28% increased impale effect and 20% attack speed if you've killed recently. Not necessarily the best, but it's better than nothing. And then I've got like a really meager physical damage roll, tier 7. So it's not like the best axe you can get, but it's pretty damn good. And I'd probably stick to something like this because this helps get your stacks up when you're delving. Not so great on bosses though, and I've got something I want to work on, little project to fix this axe up. Outside of that, flasks are just, yeah, Eternal Life Flask. I've got a Ruby Flask, Granite Flask, Basalt Flask, and I now have an Amethyst Flask because I got rid of Tinctures because I changed my second Ascendancy, but we'll talk about the tree soon. Okay, gem setup changes. All right, so I did make a few changes. Basically nothing in the helm. All the same. Boots, Purity of Elements, Clarity, Precision, and Arrogance. So I reserved 2 auras. I could sort of get away with 1, but it just means I sustain mana a hell of a lot better than other people, and I'm still really tanky. And then beyond that, in my axe, instead of running Vulnerability, which I could do, or to increase my damage, which I did have leveled up to level 20, I decided to go in Feeble. Now, it's not like the highest level, but it also means that rare and unique enemies do 12% less damage to me, so I can take bigger hits, and they're also less accurate against me too, so that's, I feel, an advantage. And then I have that with Molten Shell, custom damage taken, Blood Rage, and Life Tap. So it costs life for all of these to pop, which can sometimes not necessarily be great when we're talking about 180 life, but I regenerate so much life, like in the 5 to 8 to 10,000, that this is nothing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I also use Berserk a lot as well, so I got Berserk in the build, and I'll make sure that's ticked off in the POB, because if you've looked at any builds and you see Berserk, you know that's misleading straight away. Gloves, War Chief, Protect a Totem, Model Totems, and Maim. So I do Maim damage now. And then in my main setup, just Impale, Bone Shatter, Close Combat, Increased Duration. So because I have so much attack speed, well, because I'm able to get fortified by other means, that I'll show you guys in a minute when we talk about the POB, I don't need to have a fortified gem in here anymore, so increased duration allows me to proc more stacks, which is one way that I get more stacks of trauma. And yeah, I do tons of damage with it, so yeah, that's a plus. Ruthless and Awakened Brutality now, which I'm still GCPing up to get to 10% increased physical damage, but this was a big damage increase too. That's it for gem setup, so let's talk about the skill tree. Okay, so we've got a few changes in the skill tree now. The big one being we've now got Glorious Vanity in this setup with Divine Flesh, which synergizes with my chest piece, which is cool. Now, the other thing I've also got is Watcher's Eye with 7% additional physical damage reduction while affected by Determination. Just gives me more phys damage reduction, and if you can get a phys to, I think it's cold roll on your or cold phys to fire roll on your Watcher's Eye as well while you're affected by Purity of Elements, that makes you even tankier. Now, the other change that I made in this POB is the Ascendancy. So no longer went with the Tincture Ascendancy, the Warden. I ended up going Primalist. It just made more sense. The obvious thing here that I've got is a charm here that gives me 5% to gain Frenzy Charge on hit and 18% chance for melee attacks to grant Fortify, which means I don't need to run Fortify setups anymore. I get free Fortify. So, like, really, that makes this entire wheel and this entire wheel over... There's another one here, completely redundant now. Like, I don't know why you would even run those wheels, because you can just get it in the Primalist setup. Then beyond that, I also got another one here, which grants me every 4 seconds will generate 10% life over 1 second and 30% chance to create Consecrated Ground, which is why in the POB I have Consecrated Ground selected, which allows me to regenerate. So I get more life regeneration when I'm hitting enemies, and also I can sustain Frenzy without relying on Blood Rage as well, so that means my Frenzy charges are now up 100% of the time on bosses because I hit so fast, and I always have Fortify because I always fortify on hit, and I get a big boost to life regeneration as well. Anyway, those were the major changes. Oh, and the only other thing that's changed in here too is my cluster jewel. So I've got Feed the Fury, Martial Prowess, and Fuel the Fight, which is like 4.5 div. So this build has like probably 25, 30 div into it now. Not even the first week. And I worked all week too, so it's doable. Just gotta no life your way after you finish your workday into it. Yeah, so yeah, that being said, it's at like 450, 460 depth and delve with no sign of slowing down. If you want the Pantheons as well, I've almost got my Soul and Aris fully upgraded and Soul of Tukahama as well. So we're getting close to a point where I'm happy to go. I'll push down to like 1,000 depth and delve with this, and then pretty happy with it. But yeah, anyway. that's where I'm currently at with the build. Okay, so if this video helps you, obviously put the POB in the description, push this your character even further, give you an idea of what to target for upgrades and whatnot, then yeah, that's fantastic. And don't forget to give me a like, don't forget to give me a sub to the YouTube channel, and if you're over on the Twitch or want to check it out, I live stream on there pretty much every night at the moment, so yeah, drop me a follow over there as well. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys later, and have a good one.